A very warm welcome to you. Many thanks for joining us on this week's edition of the program. We remain your source for all the latest happenings in the world of business. My name is Lucy Lugbe. You are welcome. We have exciting lineup for you on this week's edition of the program. First, we join Faith and her guest, Professor SEGUN AJIBOLA, a professor of economics, BABCOCK University, Ogun State, on the CEO rendezvous for the concluding part of their exclusive session where they discussed the current state of the Nigerian economy, a critical look at our fiscal and monetary policies. It was, as always, a no-holds-barred. Take a listen.
Between 1986 and today, I am not aware, I have not seen a single type of foreign exchange management in the literature that we have not experimented in Nigeria.
Exactly.
But we can't print dollar. That's the truth of the matter. So if we have what we call supply rigidities in economics, which means supply is so stiff that you cannot just blend it anyhow. Supply is not flexible. Then you have to come back to demand management. It's trying to look for solution that takes the CBN or the regulators, let me say the regulators, to banish 43 or so items.
Still
from import.
We didn't solve the problem.
That raised the issue of Bureau de change and so on.
We will also bring you highlights from the 2022 conference of the Nigerian Association of Insurance and Pension Editors, Naipe, that took place recently at the Lagos Oriental Hotel, Victoria Island. The conference, which was organized under the theme, Onboarding SMEs into the micro-insurance and pension space in Nigeria, as expected, drew stakeholders from both the pension and insurance sector. Let's check out excerpts from the event.
In the name of God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. The Nigerian Association of Insurance and Pension Editors.
On behalf of the National Association of Insurance and Pension Editors, I present to you this award of appreciation from the association for a beautifully delivered presentation. Congratulations.
On behalf of the association, we thank you for coordinating this. Thank you so much.
Plus all the extras we bring you each week on the program. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the lineup. Details in just a moment. Please stay with us.
So we need, like it's often said, that think outside the box. But today's management is think without box, without any box, so that you don't even restrict yourself to any perimeter of any box. So that is the challenge, or that is the poster before us, that we need to say, okay, what do we do to resolve this problem of recurring deficit year in, year out? At least we should continue to reduce consistently that percentage of deficit. It's been hovering between 30–40% in the last 3–4 years. So that's a challenge. It's a big challenge. So then we now look at the capital element of that deficit. Like it's been said, time without number. It's no crime to borrow. And I agree. But the challenge is what do you do with
what you are borrowing.
With what you are borrowing. So if we are in a position as a people to borrow an account for every whatever currency we borrow, we are in a position to account for it. when it's project tied, we carry out our feasibility study in a way that that project will pay itself out, and accountability will follow the execution of that project. And when I say project, I mean project like Lagos, Ibadan Railway, Abuja, Kaduna Railway. We borrow from China, I understand. So what's the terms of borrowing? But that project was payback period. Who is monitoring the revenue being generated from each of these projects? We have so many of all over the country. We have even some road construction. So who is monitoring the revenue being generated? Who is accounting for it? Who is paying? At a time, I advocated for the setting up of another ministry, even though we have so many. Yeah. Suggestions come. Some of these things, fudging ideas come, but they go as they come. Nobody is in charge of warehousing them, looking at how to implement some of these beautiful ideas, bringing out results from such implementation, showing where we were before and where we are now after the implementation of such ideas. We need that kind of coordination. So if we can do that project by project, of course there will be no problem borrowing, because borrowing that is project tied will at the end of the day pay itself out and will be the better for it.
Okay, Prof, but a lot of people are complaining right now at the pace of borrowing, because it does appear that the borrowing is going into recurrent expenditure and not capital expenditure. And that is where a lot of people have issues with government going and borrowing.
It's genuine concern.
Okay.
It's genuine concern because, like I said, recurrent expenditure fizzles out. So, salaries, overheads, and so on.
Travel allowances and all of that.
Fizzle out. So, at the end of the day, the least one will expect, in the simple accounting, the least one will expect is that whatever is the size of our recurrent expenditure, whatever we generate locally must be able to meet that 100% for a start. Responsibility accounting now must be able to meet that 100%. Then whatever is left as locally generated revenue, we still have debt service. Don't forget.
Yes.
Before we even talk of overheads, then we start asking ourselves, to what extent can we meet that? If we're able to meet all those 100%, then we are home and dry as an economy. Then we will now be talking about borrowing, strictly for capital projects. But that is not the situation as of today. I understand, based on the data being released, even by the management office. That's not the situation as of today. So which means we still have a challenge on hand. And the beginning of solution to that is to look inward and see how we can beef up our revenue, internally generated revenue as a country, to cater for all those ones. So if we have not gotten to that level, then we still have a lot to do. And that is the situation as of today.
Okay, Prof. Moving on, let's talk about another hydro-handed problem in the Nigerian economy, and that is foreign exchange management. It has it has been our biggest nightmare. It's still a nightmare, and well, I don't want to say what comes next, but how or what can be done, or is it even fixable? I think that's a better question. Foreign exchange management in Nigeria, can we ever get it right?
We can, but again, it's job for everybody. I was discussing this topic with my PhD students some months back, and I asked them that they too, they are part of the issue. And I used a few examples. I said, Mr. So, look at yourself now, from head to toe, everything is imported. your tie, your suit, your shoes, everything.
But
Imported.
same with you.
Your
bro.
shirt. Well, that's where we
So
find
I'm the
ourselves.
only one that is Nigeria compliant.
I'm not sure. I'm not too sure. I'm not
this
sure.
is
I could see
Ankara.
some imported things.
Okay.
So we can't, as a country, we can't print dollar. Everybody will be on his banker. I need to
Dollar.
complete my form A. I need to pay my child's school fees. I want my children. School in Nigeria here. So if we still have this pressure, pay for school fees, pay for basic necessity, food, clothing, shelter.
Go for medical tourism and all of that.
Central bank will not print dollar. Presidency will not print dollar. So it's what we can earn that we can ration. And it's question of demand and supply. So when the demand outstrips supply, the rate will react. I've seen lots of suggestions here. Calling peg, this, dirty floating out. Between 1986 and today, I am not aware. I have not seen a single type of foreign exchange management in the literature that we have not experimented in Nigeria.
Exactly.
But we can't print dollar. That's the truth of the matter. So if we have what we call supply rigidities in economics, which means supply is so stiff that you cannot just blend it anyhow. Supply is not flexible. Then you have to come back to demand management. It's trying to look for solution that takes the CBN or the regulators, let me say the regulators, to banish 43 or so items.
Still
from import.
We didn't solve the problem.
That raise the issue of Bureau de change and so on. First of all, how do we overcome the problem of supply rigidities? We need to look away from petrodollar. What can we do? Non-oil export. What can we do? We have institutions and agencies expected to promote non-oil export. What's their record of performance? What's the record of accountability? Nigeria Export Promotion Council, Nigeria Investment Promotion Council, and some others. Then we have the issue of even remittances. It is not enough to ask the diasporans, bring your dollar. What scheme do we have on ground locally to encourage them to even bring that dollar? If I have friends, and I'm saying friends, some have been out of Nigeria for 30, 40 years. They want to come back. We're encouraging them to come back. But they're asking me, coming back to do what? If there's a scheme in place today, I've had at former seminar conferences some discussions with Diasporan Commission, yes. Our very active
Madam Abike
Dabi. If we have a scheme in place, and I know they are also thinking of what to do. If we have a scheme in place where I can tell a friend of mine, look, come, there are this kind of small scale business you can set up. There are this micro business you can set up. It will take $100,000. The government is prepared to assist you with either 30%, 40%, balance up. Then we see how it is managed so that at the end of the day, you'll be able to pay back what government has given you. Such a person knows that he's coming back and coming back to do something productive. He will still be engaged economically. That's an inducement to bring back dollar to Nigeria. Some, in attempts to put one building or the other here, they end up in the hands of scammers. Scammers could be brother-in-law, could be siblings, could be direct siblings, and so on, could be friends, and so on and so forth. If there's a scheme to encourage people like that to come back, either it's a mortgage, either it's a real estate business, and they know that government is one way or the other involved. And there are incentives, there are schemes, we will improve on what is coming to Nigeria in terms of remittances. That's addressing the supply side of the foreign exchange market. Before we come to what we can even export in terms of agriculture, what has been the fate of cocoa? cashew, rubber, palm produce, and so on and so forth. I produce palm in my own farm. For long, I've been struggling for one kind of assistance or the other from government sector. 15 years down the line, I've never gotten a single form of assistance. And in my local government, I have one of the biggest palm farm.
Okay, so Prof, if
So
someone like you cannot access even government assistance, and you are playing palm is very critical, it's crucial. You can't access funds from the government. So much less someone who is not even at your level. So isn't that part of the problem?
Yeah, you see, Shanes, you know, that's what I said the other time when I started. When you have good intentions, you want to assist farmers, you want them to have access, free access to certain facilities, you must put humans in place at every level to be sure. For example, if you come to my local government now and you are looking for those in need of assistance, how have you gathered information about that? How have you linked them with agencies, commissions that can provide such assistance? What is record of how do you prepare records of performance? How do you what's the feedback mechanism? This area we need to touch. At times you feel that you need to approach an agency or government. You don't even know who to talk to. And like you said, if somebody like me is in that kind of situation, imagine those who are in subsistence farming and so on and so forth. So how do we make some of these policies more effective, more productive? The efficacy of such policies, how do we improve on it? Regulatory authorities in the banking industry cannot do that. Either the presidency of government and other agencies cannot. Then it comes down to the state. From the state to the local government. Even from the local government to the communities.
All right, welcome back. Moving on, we now bring you highlights from Naipe conference in Lagos. The 7th edition has always provided a platform for operators in the insurance and pension industry to rub minds and exchange ideas with journalists who daily report both sectors to the public with a view to increasing awareness and build public confidence. Happy viewing.
The National Association of Insurance and Pension Correspondents, now Nigerian Association of Insurance and Pension Editors, Naipe, recently held its 7th national conference with the theme Onboarding Small and Medium-Scale Enterprises into Microinsurance and Pension Space in Nigeria at the Lagos Oriental Hotel, Victoria Island. Guest speaker was Dr. Mrs. Chinyere Alumona, DG, LCCI, while chairman was Engineer Cyril Ajagu. Welcoming guests to the event, the president of Naipe, Mrs. Nkechi Naiche Esezobo, called on insurance and pension operators to see SMEs as growth assets.
NICO considered the theme of this conference act because of SME sectors have been a major driver and energy of growth of the Nigerian economy. And being the sector with the highest employers of labor, needs all the support to enable it continue to contribute significantly to the growth of the economy. Incidentally, the larger population of operators and employees in this space are left unattended to, with a lot of them not benefiting at all from the nation's financial inclusion projects. And this therefore underscores why the microinsurance and micro-pension players should see this group as a growth asset. I have no doubt that Mrs. Chinyere Alumona, an erudite professional, will do justice to the theme of this year's conference. And hopefully, after the presentation today, we will leave here convinced solutions profile will go a long way to deepen microinsurance and pension penetration in Nigeria.
Delivering the same paper, the guest speaker, Dr. Alumona, said that it is imperative for all workers to embrace the safety net that microinsurance and pension offers.
There comes a time when you're not able to function like you're functioning today. There comes a time when your strength will wane. There comes a time when your mental capacity will wane. There comes a time when you're not able to do what you're doing today. Therefore, you need a safety net. You need to, like they say in my place, you can't repair the roof during the rainy season. If during the dry season you repair the roof, so that during the rainy season you're well covered. So this is a time to put that safety net in place, and it's something that you need to do for yourself. A lot of times, I guess perhaps in our parents' time, we like the fact our children will provide for us. These children that we're seeing these days. The children we're seeing these days, even I am wondering that, so yes, they will provide for you, like we pray that they will provide for us, but perhaps you don't want to put them on our body, like you want to be able to provide for yourself when you grow old. So this is a safety net, and please, you need to take advantage of it. This is the time that you can do it. Not that you can see with your two eyes, you better do it. When you can't see with one eye or two eyes, then there will be a problem to do it. So it is safety net at retirement, so I'm just telling everyone about those the beneficiaries of this program that it is good to have. It's not a nice to have. In fact, it's like compulsory. Everybody should plan for their retirement.
Other speakers at the conference were Dr. Tunde Alayonde, representative of DG Pencom, Mr. SEGUN Omosheyin, Chairman NIA, and a host of others. The high point of the annual conference is a panel discussion. Panelists this year were Mr. Niyi Onifade, MD, Hares Life, Mrs. Fumi Omo, MD, Enterprise Life, Mr. Oguche Aguda, CEO, PENOP, and a host of others. In his remarks during the panel discussion, Mr. Aguda, CEO, PENOP, said that micro-pension is a national emergency.
Micro-pension is a national emergency. And what we've been trying to do as an industry is to see how we can get a number of informal people into the pension space and design pensions for them. So what we've tried to do is what we term the 4 P's of micro-pension, which is really gotten from the 4 P's of marketing, which is known to most of the professionals here, which is the product, promotion, place, and price. So I'll just take it through in terms of the product. And from the product point of view, is how do we make the micro-pension product suitable, amenable, and how do we incentivize them? So as we have seen, the micro-pension product, unlike the product for the formal sector, it doesn't have to be every month. You can do daily contributions, you can do weekly, you can do, depending on your cash flow. The second thing is that all the money you contribute, it's not everything that is going to wait till pensions. There's a contingency portion you can withdraw as much as you like. So we're making it flexible. And like the representative of the DG said, we're also ensuring that we are incentivizing with health insurance. So once you get the micro insurance, the micro pension package, I beg your pardon, you'll be able to enjoy health insurance subject to some terms and conditions. Again, we are looking at micro credit and some other things, but that will come later. And even the mortgage is a way for you to get your house. The National Pension Commission just released the mortgage guideline last month. So if people are contributing consistently over a period of time with the micro pension, you can get a home. So that's what I'd like to say in terms of products.
The new identity of Naipe was also unveiled at the conference.
We unveil it in the name of the God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. The Nigerian Association of Insurance and Pension Editors.
There is no doubt that the Nigerian Association of Insurance and Pension Editors, Naipe, have a huge role to play in the drive to increase awareness and participation of SMEs in the micro-pension and insurance space in Nigeria.
That's our time on the program this week. Many thanks for being a part of it. Join us same time, same station next week for a fresh package. In the meantime, feel free as always to connect with us on all our social media platforms. Don't forget to join us on our flagship Pidgin English radio program, Waiting Insurance They Do Safe, on Niger FM 102.7 every Wednesday by 9:45 a.m., powered by NICOM. My name is Lucy Lube. Until next time, from the entire crew, it is goodbye.